Hi everybody, Nathan Hall here. We spent a lot of time in the past looking at the hero's journey. We're doing something a little different this time. We're skipping ahead to the fifth story in Astro City to look at the villain's journey. And this is our villain. Apparently unassuming little old retiree who we know is also up to some reconnaissance. So, quick preview and preview. Big thing to remember about these and both the hero's journey and coming of age. There must be change. There must be revelation. There must be, I understand what I must do, but sometimes I have to be someone little different to do it. So change is important for protagonists, as we're going to see. What happens when we skip it? Well, what happens when a child becomes an adult but still acts like a child? And one example here, why doesn't this villain ever just quit? We'll look at him a bit. So what separates heroes from villains? What makes some heroes better than others? Well, we're going to look at one villain who a lot of people think isn't so good. So first we're going to start by talking about Roadrunner and Coyote. Here are some rules. These are actual rules they came out with that explains why the rules they went through for every cartoon. In particular, one thing here is rule number 3. The Coyote could quit at any time. The Coyote could at any time just say, you know what, it's not worth it. I'm going to go somewhere else, eat something else. He never does. He never quits. He just keeps moving forward. And his greatest enemy, his biggest conflict is not so much the Roadrunner, it's gravity. He always is falling. So check out the limitations each side plays under. The Coyote, he can never die. He must just be humiliated. And the Roadrunner never really hurts the Coyote. He just says beep beep and takes off running. Never does anything deliberately hurt him. So in Reconnaissance, here is our narrator, the person telling the story. It's an alien trying to get information for an invasion. That can't be good. Big thing we'll look at. Take a look at this, how we have motion. We got these little lines showing a transformation. And then you can see with his hands out, he's clearly typing something. So who is his conflict against? Well, mainly against other people. The police who tell him move along, his old neighbors and stuff. The superheroes don't seem to ever care about him. In fact, he kind of gets rescued. He has a chance to change at one point, but he doesn't. Something draws him back. He can't overcome the conflicts of his world. Heroes overcome their conflicts. Villains, well, they kind of get beat by them. They can't overcome their internal or external ones. So it's probably not just his appearance either. For as weird as he is, yeah, he kind of looks like a giant praying mantis, but this guy looks like a giant cockroach. This guy looks like a giant wolf. Okay? So what about his dishonesty? He keeps a secret. Oh wait, superheroes keep secret identities too. So this is our hero. We have the Samaritan. Kind, noble, humble, terrific solid guy. Now we have Cracker Jack. He bounces around, he sings, he steals credit from others. He wins more through luck than anything else. He's not the most competent. And how do we know he's in motion? Just look at these lines. Look at the background behind him. That's something we'll look at a little later on. But the weird thing about Cracker Jack, he's a real jerk, and yet he kind of inspires Mr. Bridwell. Of all the humans he runs into, he's probably the nicest. But if he's such a nice guy, why is he saving an alien invader? Well, he doesn't really know it at the time. He's so charming. Why does anyone else respect him? Police don't. Other superheroes don't. So Mr. Bridwell spends most of the night following him. Here's the conclusion he comes to. He's jealous, he's sloppy, steals credit for others. So big thing, Cracker Jack, he never stands still for long. He knows he's always in motion, and all we have are pictures to show that. So what are some visual cues? Well, look at these lines going around. Look at the lines for his feet. Some other things here. And that's the big thing we're going to look at for our visual element this week is motion in comics. Lines are the easiest way. But check out the angles. Notice how no one here is really straight. The only thing that is straight is this building. Look at the effects one person has on other things. This really shows they matter. We see hats flying off in both panels. Newspapers blowing around. So this is objective motion. Something moves while the world stands still. Another thing we're going to look at is subjective motion. Here, our focus stands still and the world moves. It's kind of like negative space. We focus on one thing because everything else is, well, for negative space, it's gone. Here, it's kind of blurred and hard to notice. Didn't have a lot of good viewpoint, this story. So angles and faces. I'm going to make this bigger. Let's go back to the Roadrunner. There's another thing to look at. First, notice the motion lines. Roadrunner just looks like he goes faster with those circles. Coyote, not so defined. But big thing, look at the eyes. Look how big and open the Roadrunners are. His smile, his nose. How you can always get a good clean shot of his face. Coyote, we got lots of extra lines with those whiskers. We got squinty eyes and a huge nose. So check out those two. Then check out these two. Our hero and villain meeting and their secret identities. Mr. Bridwell, big nose, kind of squinty eyes, shadowy face. And here we have Eugene, huge smile. See his eyes? He's a little farther away, but you can see they're big and open. Look at that nice little nose on him. Ah, what a nice looking guy, huh? So that's going to be our lesson. Big thing to look at. Villains, they don't change, even when they should. That's probably where they always lose to their conflicts. Heroes, they're not all like the Samaritan. Lines, straight lines show static, no motion. Angled lines show motion. Speed lines show things moving. I'm referring to lines here. So you can see here, he probably won't be moving so much. This definitely isn't moving. This is staying still. You can see in the background Quarrel. You can see one leg is totally straight. The other, it's not really all that angled. If she were running, you'd probably see that more. So objective motion, focal object moves and will affect the other one. The world stays still. Subjective motion, the focal object seems still because the world's moving around it. And when it comes to faces, heroes will show off their tiny noses and clean faces. Villains tend to hide their big noses and scowls. So that's it. Try the questions and activities. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be in cafe and live class Monday at 10 a.m. Just let me know if you have any concerns or anything.